For this design, you're going to need the Dream Decorator Pack and base game. The bed, the tent, and the side table are all from the Dream Home Decorator Pack, and the curtains or the blinds and this object here is from base game debug. So to get started, we're going to take these debug items, and if you're not sure how to get them, please check out my build mode basics video, and that will let you know about the debug menu. So we're going to take them and pop them into place across the doorway there and slide the tent in. You can't have a wall or anything there because it won't be functional then, so that's why I've used debug objects. And I've put some windows in, as you can see, to line up with the windows of the tent. I'm then going to shift these blinds into place and using good old Alt, put them in. It can be a bit fiddly as always, so a few different angles and trial and error, should have it as close as you can. And then we get that bed and pop it in. Now, as you're about to see, if you clip it to the grid like I've just done, and then put the counters underneath, or the dressing table underneath, you'll see that it doesn't quite line up. So you want to drag it out just a little bit, just to give it a little bit more space so the curtains aren't like in the bed. And there you have it. Really quick, very easy, and you can use probably a lot of different objects to achieve the same thing. This is just the one that I decided to show today. So to create the leveled steps with the shelving, you can see I've placed a fence along the floor here to do the platforms, and you can use this to make any sort of stairs. So if you want, check out my functional curved platforms tutorial. And basically all you do is lay down the fencing where you want your steps and use the platform raise tool and raise it up each height one step higher, as you can see, so that they're functional for the Sims to walk up. If you make it any higher than the one above, then they won't be able to use it without stairs. So it should look something like this by the time you're finished, one step each. And then we're going to use the half wall tools. So we're going to start with the tiny half wall and do that on the lowest level. And then we're just going to go up 2. Put the next wall, whoops, and then up 2 again. So you could make as many steps as you like, really. Just make sure it's every second wall height so that you get this sort of a shape. You can add whatever trim you like. I went with white, obviously, to fit in with this particular room, but you can do whatever you like with the trim. And you do need the Dream Decorator Pack for this one because we're going to be using these modular connections. For those of you who have it, you know you can use many different ones, but these are the 3 that I chose to use for this particular design. So just going to go ahead and place them. As you can see, they snap out of place, which really annoys me, but thankfully there's a way around it. So use Alt to line it up, make it fit however you want. I'm just going to go ahead and place all these in. And there you have it, platform stairs with leveled shelving, a really good option in kids' rooms for the toys, especially if you don't want a toy box. Okay, last but not least, the book nook. So to do this room, you're again only going to need base game and dream decorator. You're going to create a 6 by 2 room like this here. You're going to put a wall either side here and leave 2 gaps. Okay, that's the basis for what's going to be the book nook. The items that we're going to use are all base game and dream decor, as I said, so you can see them on the sides. Some of them are debug objects, so it's the same item here we used before for the tent area under the bed space, and some poles here are also from the debug menu. Other than that, the rest of it you should be pretty familiar with. So let's get started. First of all, we're going to grab this debug object, which I have sized up. If you want to know how to size up, size down, and move objects up and down, please check out my build mode basics video, as I mentioned before, because all that information is there. So going to just place these in. As you can see, I have raised them up to cover a certain area. I'm going to do the same on the other side. And the reason that we're doing this is to give it the feel that it's just meant for kids. So it kind of makes it look like the roof line is lower when it's complete. We're then going to get our cabinets here, the base game, and we're going to line them. We don't want them this way, so we need to rotate just slightly. We want them to be on the wall facing in. And then if we go around the other side, we're going to do the same thing. It's just to fill that gap above where the bookshelves are going, which we're going to place in now. So along the side here, they should just snap into place nicely. And now you can see why we placed those items in front. You don't necessarily have to have the cabinets, but if you choose to use something else here instead, it will just fill in that gap a little bit better and make it look a little bit neater. So I'm going to put our bookshelves in on both sides, like so, and that's the basics of it. A lot of what comes next is personal preference on how you choose to hide it, because you can see that there is a little bit of flickering there. So you can just move it ever so slightly back, and that will stop the flickering. Just line it up. But then of course you're still left with that grey section there. So however you choose to cover it, you can place a window in to give it a little bit more of a open feel. Kids' cubbies always seem to have that type of thing. I chose to use these curtains to sort of conceal a little bit. So all I did was raise them up and obviously sized them down. And just put them into place where I want them. I then used this picture, which we got with one of the more recent updates, and it's so nice, such a nice picture, and I thought it went well with this room. So I just raised that one up too and used that to cover that grey area. But like I said, you can choose whatever you like. Whoops. Might help if that's actually on the wall, mightn't it? Let's try that again. There we go. Okay, so these columns, like I said, are debug objects, and all I did with those is place them in to try and give it a little bit more of a border along the edge there, and also to try and cover up some of that grey area, like so. And that there is your little reading nook. When you angle down, there it is. Thanks for watching my video, guys. If you enjoyed what you saw and you want to see more, make sure you subscribe and also click on that notification bell so you don't miss out on new content. You can also check me out on my socials.